千里之行，始于足下. A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Daodejing by Lao Zi. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now. To be fully present and mindfully aware as we all ready ourselves for this sacred process of the Tao. Then I also want to share with you the lines from Zhuangzi Bingfa, what we call the art of war, that will further underline this concept for all of us. We've talked about the story from Zhuangzi. What about Sun Tzu? So here's what he wrote. 百战百胜，非善之善者也。不战而屈人之兵，善之善者也。What does all that mean? Well, let me translate for you one line at a time, and then I will explain on the specific characters, the important characters, exactly what it means. So line 1 is 100 victories from 100 battles. Line 2, not the best of the best. Line 3, to defeat their soldiers without battle. That is the best of the best. So let's think about this for just a moment. So first of all, the overall idea is easily recognized. The conventional thinking is that, well, being able to win all the time, 100%, that should be the absolute best, isn't it? So remember, the mindset of the Tao is what I call the next level thinking. That is why the ancient sages say, no, that is not the best. Defeating enemies without fighting is the actual best. Now, before we get into the details of how that can be done, let me explain the translation. This translation, I would say, is the most accurate imaginable, and I will explain why. So first of all, in the first line, you're noticing two characters that are the same, bai. That's 100. So the first character and the third character, they're the same. The second character is war or battle. So 百战, that's 100 battles. In the translation, you see it at the end of the line. And then 百胜, the second part of that line, is 100 victories. So literally in the original Chinese, ancient Chinese, it is saying 100 battles, 100 victories. And in the English, it actually reads a little better when you follow the rules, syntactical rules of English, and say 100 victories from 100 battles. So the order is flipped around. That gets done quite a bit. You have to do that quite a bit when you do this translation work. Then the second line, not the best of the best. Let me point out in the second line that you have two iterations of the shan character. The character that we identify first and foremost in this chapter as the good, the great, the excellent, being good or skillful at something. It's repeated twice. So it is saying someone who is being skillful, the skill amongst skills, the skillfulness of skillfulness. We don't necessarily need to use skill or skillfulness because we have a perfectly good expression in English that captures that. Best of the best. So that's why. And then the character in the very first character of the second line, that's a negation character. It means no or not, similar to bu. So this is basically Sun Tzu saying that winning all the time, winning 100%, not the best of the best. That is the counterintuitive statement that many people would find puzzling. Then he explains what is the actual best. Not fight at all, not risk the lives of the soldiers at all. So then one more note is that line 2 and line 4 end with a similar character, with the same character, ye. That is the character that means the period. It's a punctuation mark. It's a character being used as a punctuation mark. And so the translation includes that as well. So best of the best. Elsewhere, the quote-unquote official or formal translation of the art of war is the acme skill. What? Okay, well, acme means top. So acme skill means the topmost skill, the zenith of skills. So linguistically it works, but boy, does this sound awkward. So now let's stick with this translation and talk about how can you win without firing a shot? There are actually many possible ways. I'll give a few examples. Number one, psychological warfare. That is, demoralize the enemy and defeat them without a single shot being fired. They simply surrender. No fighting necessary when they're sufficiently demoralized. Number two, another possibility, cut off supplies, force a surrender. So again, no need to fight if the other side surrenders. Number three, and this is the ideal in the Tao, remove the reason for the conflict in the first place. Create a win-win situation that benefits all. No need to fight. Turn enemies into friends. That is the ideal in the Tao. And furthermore, because we talked about the effectiveness, the excellence of the general, the warrior, those who are good at defeating enemies, the concept in the Tao is to be able to back any of the above possibilities that we talked about, psychological warfare, cutting off supplies, removing the reason for conflict, back them up with actual war-making ability and total readiness, just like the rooster. The kind of calmness and composure that you have when you reach that level, when you're in that state, that is extremely powerful. And it comes from within. So now I think you can see exactly what Lao Tzu was getting at. It is echoed in the story about the rooster, training the rooster, further echoed in the art of war when it talks about the ultimate. What is the ultimate warrior? What is the best of all? It's not to actually subjugate or dominate anybody. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us all travel safely so we can meet again. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.